Hello, viewers. Another exciting episode of The Girl Who Can. Today, we're going to discuss transitioning after school into adulthood. Whilst I was planning on this topic with my team, one thing that actually came in mind was when I was graduating school and I didn't know I would be doing my national service. And I'm like, I was giving myself assurances. And after school, national service came in and I looked so lost. So it was evident that I wasn't really prepared for the life after school. And I felt that I could have done better. At the same time, I felt there was nothing I could do. So it was a lot of uncertainties. And today we have a lot of young girls who are graduating, who have graduated. And the joy that comes with graduation. You're like, so you're nice, kente, you look good, you do your makeup, you take pictures. And then in your head, you know that I don't know what I'm going to do next. We're going to ask two lovely ladies how they figured life after school. If they haven't even figured it out, and if they haven't, we'll try to look for ways by which we can make it better. The girl who can. The time is now. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for joining me. Emma Joyce, thank you so much. You are dear to me.
Yo.
And Vivian, there's no new face on this set, so thank you, Vivian, as well. Let me start with you, Vivian. Graduating UCC, first class. How was the feeling?
It was good. I was happy that I got this class, but then I was worried about what's this class.
Yeah. Yes. And do you think how has adulthood shocked you? Your laughter is saying a lot of things.
I don't know, like anyone can be really prepared, but you should have some level of preparedness, and I'm not sure I had that. Even though I was aware that irrespective of whether I'm prepared or not, I have to face life. That's what I had in my mind. But as to whether I'm prepared or not, I don't
think so. So what was that time in your life you felt like, I don't know, like this is not it? And is school a safe place? Like school gives you safety. That's what I think. I don't know about you.
Yes, and it gives you safety. You don't have to worry about where I get money from. People would give you money.
Exactly.
If you call home and ask for money, you will get it. So that will put you in that of protection. And so immediately that was where everybody's like, now you're adults, nobody's giving you money again. So that's one reality. Even though you are prepared for it, it's still surprising because no one is willing to do that. You get without students.
But like they assume that you're already there. You should figure your life.
Yes, and if you show any small signs that you are not a bit better, then that's it.
Yeah.
You don't have to wear heels. No makeup. You go in your raw state because if you dress small, they're like, kind of heels you want for the wedding, you're going to that 100. But maybe that day, you know, the 100 means more than anything. Yeah. Wow. So Emma Joyce, you also went to UCC.
Yes, I did.
Tell me, how was it for you?
Okay, so describing my emotions, I would say excitement, relief, and then anxiety. Excitement because you are done with done quizzes, assignments, exams. Relief, finally you are done with school, the burden of studying, you are done with that. And then with anxiety now, okay, so what's next? The fear of the unknown after you come out of
Fear
school.
of the unknown. I guess that's for me the scariest part.
Yeah.
Because every morning you wake up, you're like, and you're like assuring yourself, I feel like when people are motivating people on YouTube or whatever, if you've not gone through it, it's very easy for you to say. I remember those days. So my story, I graduated, got my national service, long story short, finished, and then I worked for a while, said, okay, I'm going to further my education, came back. So when they say if you have this degree outside, like master's degree outside, you are ready for a job. My husband then, my boyfriend was like, the companies will employ you. That's how I stayed home for 1 year, 6 months. I started by force. I was like, I became creative, but it was one of those things when you wake up in the morning, you're like trying to figure yourself out, you're making yourself busy, you're assuring yourself that life will be well. And the day you forget to assure yourself, you see people posting on LinkedIn, at 21, I bought my first house and all that. Then you're like, what did I do wrong? Vivian, did you go through that phase?
Yeah. So that's a long story. When I was in school, I thought that after that, we are someone that said this, I'm going to leave the country.
Leave the country. Hey,
I know, I was so certain.
You're going to that time leave me here.
I was so certain I would leave. And I don't know, at some point, things were not working out. Then I just gave up. I don't know how, but I just gave up. And I think now I'm still giving now, but I keep getting people that tell me that the opportunities outside, you should still work on it, even though you're working on yourself in Ghana. So the plan was to do my national service in my department.
Yeah.
But I thought, is this matching with your career? If you go to education, that means you have to follow through.
Yeah, exactly.
So I decided to apply for not just like this with a private institution,
Yeah.
and I got one. So getting there, I got to learn more. I gained an interest in the HR for which I am learning. So I don't personally think life is straight.
It's not.
But one of my challenges is that it's accepting reality.
It's accepting the reality. I know.
It's just so hard.
Yeah.
Anytime something happens, I have to think of why didn't it turn out the other way around?
Exactly.
Why I just have made it easier.
Yeah.
So I think I saw a post with Chimamanda. She said, life is messy. And once you accept the reality, you don't have to rationalize it. Just accept that it's messy.
Yeah.
So when
Don't
something
have to
happens, don't be making
rationalize
it.
Exactly.
If something happened, it's happening right now. What can you do about it? It's what the next thing.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe that's what's helping me now.
Yeah.
Figure out transition.
Yeah.
But I won't say I'm fully yet.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the next 2 years I'll figure it out. I hope that's not the wrong perception again.
Okay, I don't think you can blame yourself entirely. So in my choice, Vivian spoke about there was like the shock, she was so sure she was going to travel out of the country and leave us. And then life said, it ain't yet time, right? It ain't yet time. Come back home. So tell me, what was your shock? What was that thing that you were like, oh?
Okay, so for me, because I wanted to pursue the psychology, I wanted to further right from school. They were telling us, oh, after school, you can't just practice with the first degree that you have. So you would have to further, which is master's. So I was just contemplating, should I further now? Which school? Which country? And then you go like, okay, there's no money to further. So what do? You would have to work. And then you realize that when you've been told that you can't work with what you have, so the job market becomes very competitive, very, very
How many applications did you write?
I've lost count now.
How many rejections?
I've lost count now.
How was the feeling when you got your first interview?
I was excited. It's like, okay, so actually you can apply for a job and leave.
I know. You know that feeling when they call you, like, oh, so my number works. Because I said, they're like, what's happening? Okay. So I recall when at that space I spoke about 1 year, 6 months. So I went for 10 interviews. And in all the interviews, I was interviewed 3 times. So that's 30, right?
Wow.
So after every interview, it feels so good. I got to third stage. That's when you're like, you start planning. I'm imagining the outfits I wear to the office, and then you see the email there. And you know when you receive rejection emails, you know how it starts. So you don't even bother to finish reading. So the job applications and all that, was that another shock you had to deal with?
Yes, it was a very important. I think after every
But it's not at school, now people thought you get jobs.
yeah, I had a thing again with your psychology, you can't practice.
Yeah.
So I was very aware of that. But I was positive for entering some admin role.
You thought life will just get
Just to say that. So yeah, school, there's this. I've always had this fear of encouraging myself.
Yeah.
So the moment something happens and it hits me,
Yeah.
for once, I'm not able to find a motivation to go.
I get you.
So something comes up
Yeah.
and then I move again. So I remember there's a job that I applied for, and I think if I'm not lying, she was brought up for my interview. She applied for the same job.
For the same job.
Yes.
Competing for the same job.
I'll tell you the story.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the person was interviewing me brought me out.
Yeah.
But one challenge that I can see in the field is, I don't have a way to say this, but as a woman, the advances.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's very true.
Since I'm not mentioning the company's health,
Yeah.
it's an issue. But the interview I went for, literally, the person didn't ask me any question about my qualification. It was just physical advances. By how you, and the person was in the room. And if I'm not lying, I did accept the room. But when I went home, I went to sit back and I was like, is this really what
you want to do? Because you're like, clearly this is what I'm getting myself into.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the first time. The other time I think there was another one. I think the fee was 7,000. Also, I think I started room. And I was like, finally,
this is it. Yeah.
And the place I go to where the person started in the first day, I read it.
Yeah, if you continue.
Yes.
Because for 7,000 for a degree, like right after school, it's like, and some people will jump on these opportunities. So I must commend you for keeping up to your values and saying that I will stick with it and go the hard route, which is sometimes painful. So good job. Because sometimes, it's somebody's watching and they're like, as for me, I was thinking it, what's the worst that can happen? But the worst that can happen is that towards end. That means that you have to sleep again to get a promotion, do something with the person again to get another thing. When will your value push you? In my joys. So I'm just curious. Did you also have to face similar things with advances and all that?
Yes, they are everywhere. That's one reality that I've accepted. And then to navigate through that, I've realized, just as she said, you must have values to be able to overcome all these challenges. They are not going to go away anytime soon. They are there.
Yeah, done.
Yes, so you just have to make up your mind. This is what you stand for. You are either accepting it or you are rejecting it.
I'm really proud of you that you girls really kept yourself together. Now let's look at entering the job market. I think you've worked before, right?
Yeah.
You also worked. You are still working. I think majority is transitioning to school, so we'll get to it. How was it like? Was there another shock there that you thought you were not prepared for? I'll start with you, Joyce.
Okay, so just as I said, it's very competitive and it's beyond your academic achievements. Yes, most hiring agencies or HRs are looking for something more than what you have on your degree certificate. They are looking, okay, so it starts with the networks, the internships, and then sometimes luck. Pretty privileges for ladies.
I tell you, luck. Sometimes you think that life will be fair, but I've realized life itself has its own definition of fairness.
Yeah.
Sometimes it will pick you, sometimes it does not pick you. And you have to be happy throughout. And when it doesn't pick you, that's very difficult to be. So, Vivian, getting into the job market, competitiveness and all that, how did you feel? Were you prepared for that?
I wouldn't say I was prepared. As I said, I was hoping I could get into some rules, but I think when you're NP, you shouldn't expect that things are just going to work out. You have to pick the intentions. So right now, I think I'm still waiting companies, and then the kind of what I have is if I perform well, then I'm waiting. So you have to consider the options. If nobody's hiring, I was writing out to HR companies since I wanted to job, writing out to them, and they would offer me maybe personal assistant role, but I wanted to stick to HR. Yeah, so I kept rejecting until I finally got one that worked for me. So you should consider taking internship. If you see your skill set is not good enough to get a job, the more you resign.
I perfectly agree. Consider taking a lot of roles. Do some free jobs. I know it's painful, especially when you don't even have the money to take the transportation first, and then you have to now go to a job, and then the boss is toxic, and you have to. It's so confusing.
Yeah.
But you need to take some effort, like put in some hard work here. Now let's look at adulthood. Buy your first bag of rice, and you are done with school, and you've never had to buy your. On campus there will be money sent for you to buy. Now you are working, you have to budget, and I think you live alone. Yes. Want me to living alone series? All the YouTube living alone series. How has it been for you?
I think it's not funny. But
has there been a time you've been broke?
Yeah, I'm like,
it's like
every time.
Yeah. And how was it like? So run me through getting to that point,
So I think when I moved from UCC, I moved straight to Accra because the national service, so I had to rent.
Yeah.
And for I got support. Yeah. But the second year,
you had to renew your rent.
Yes. So now I was like, I think I won't go somewhere now.
We were waiting to be sacked.
Yes.
Wow.
But somehow God helped me.
Yeah.
I remember I went for outreach in company of the end. And once we were on the outreach, my landlord kept calling me, asking me, he's supposed to see the room also, what's happening? And I wasn't worried, but the last day we went back to
that's when they don't know you that they don't have to see that.
She said, oh, me. But also, I was coming from some names kept popping up in my head. I should reach out to them. Yeah. So I don't know why I didn't, because I don't know. I think I'm not really that sensitive. So I go to my room again and I was just thinking that today for that. So I'm going to talk to Bush to the couple they just sack me. Yeah, and then those names pop out again. I'm like, if these things are popping out, why not just call? Yeah. So I just called and I called a mentor. Yeah. And they both told me out. No question. Wow. They didn't ask questions, just gave me the money and I was able to sort it out. But when it comes to the money, so NSS money is not that big. Yeah. And if you are alone, by the time you fill gas, you pay lights. Half of the money is gone. So no Netflix and chill. This is like focus. You can't let go of it. That's it. And then transport to work, you have to factor that. So much of the money left is not something you can really say. So I've not been able to So then I haven't been able to budget, save. The moment I save, the next time I did the money.
That's how you say it. You're saying how to save and plan and all that. You're like, please, you skip, right? Sorry, it's my choice.
Okay.
How was it for you? Did you move out of home or you stayed with the family?
Okay, so for me, thankfully for me, I have a very good support system,
so you
which is my family. Which is my family. I really appreciate them.
Oh, thank you, family of my choice. Thank you.
But then, even after that, when I was in school, I had a crisis. And so, you have so much responsibilities. But then that aspect of, okay, now you're an adult. You are going to provide basic needs for you. But then there are certain decisions you must take them on your own. So I hail from Cape Coast. So I had to make the decision that there are no jobs in Cape Coast. I would want to move to Accra. If you are moving, you have little siblings.
To Accra.
Yes.
Okay. So that's the thing. I'm happy people are bringing out move because being born in Accra, we never think of move, right? Because you're already here. But if you were not born here, that's really a reality. So you moved to Accra.
Okay, so you would have to consider who you are going to live with, whether you are going to rent.
Did you have to live with someone or you rented?
So I live with a family member now. Yeah, okay. I'm not renting, thankfully.
So you don't have to pay rent. You don't have to be stressed.
No, but you are still independent. The fact that you are living in someone's house does not mean the person is taking care of you. So yeah, that's independence. Sometimes you miss your family, you miss.
They're missing family and friends and all that. Why do you look so sad? How was it for you? Like living alone at a young age and then you now have to deal with come closer from work. Do you ever get lonely and do you call back home? How is it like for you? Because on campus, right, you go back to the hostel, you have friends.
Yes.
Or you are not friendly.
I think I knew one of the people, but I don't think I really had put that considered close. Yes.
So now, how is it like living alone?
I think it's not gotten better. I think maybe I need to work on my social life, maybe go out more.
So now money, savings and all that. I think we talked about that, but the aspect about it, like I want us to really focus on, because I'm sure others can relate to the story, is in relation to even taking very good care of yourself, because right now you're living on a budget. As much as for you, you're living with a family member, at the same time you eat, right?
Yeah.
You're living on a budget. How are you managing? And what do you think you could have, you wish you would know, that you think if I had done this, of course, if you know you would be doing it right, but if I had done this, something would have been better.
Okay, for my case, I don't think anybody just like would have worked.
No, I like that. I like the transparency. Yeah.
I don't know, maybe either. I think I was certain that prices had changed, things were just increasing seriously. So no matter how you budget, it won't really work. But if things stabilize and then you have to budget, you can set what you used to buy. I think what will help you if
if you cook more.
I think that's way easier. People would think, well, it's time for the season. But that's what I do now. I cook over the weekends, and if I have a fresh enough, so I stock it mostly.
So you don't have to really care. Because I do recall you. So Vivian and I also don't have contest. We used to work together at a point in East Legon, and the food is very expensive. So you are either limited to go there or some early morning watching from your house. If you dare enter this territory of East Legon and you are buying food, you're looking at 70, 80 CDs upwards. And it's not by fault. Like, it's not like you are bougie or anything. Your choices are limited. So apart from King K, and you can't say you are eating the same food for 1 month. It will tell. So it's really a hard reality. Now, parents, what role do you think our families can play to make this better? Because sometimes our parents think that, and we also make our parents think we figured it out when we have not really figured it out. So they call, they're asking, "How are you?" And you're like, "Oh, I'm fine." But maybe right before the call, you were crying.
Yeah.
Vivian, let me come with you in my choice. Have there been times that you've hidden your emotions from your family because you just want them to think you're okay?
Oh, yes.
Fine.
Because sometimes you are just trying to be considerate. You know that they have other responsibilities that they must attend to. You're not their only child. And then you also want to give them that trust that they raised you to be an independent person, not really dependent on them, irrespective of your age. And also, sometimes the values they taught you. So for me, one thing my dad always tells me is, when it comes to, as a lady, my maintenance, there are certain things I cut off. there's no need for me to braid if I know that I'm not going for any bougie
So you started
events.
taking those steps. to
Yes,
braid, but
yes.
You keep your natural hair well.
Yes.
Okay.
I won't wear nails. There's no need for me to buy new.
See, that's how I am.
There's no need for me to buy new clothes or shoes if they are not needed.
Take notes. Look at all the tactics the majority is using to, stay in budget.
And then for me personally, I don't like food that
don't
much,
like
so I
food,
can
so
go.
you can
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I like the things she said. You know yourself. You know that if I won't braid if I don't need to, so I can keep my hair. And I think these are things that we should learn.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I mean, for me, braiding helps me to keep my hair longer, so I don't have to change weights all the time. So
Okay.
that's also a strategic move. I never used to think that way, but life will teach you to think that way.
Yeah.
First. And then I'll prepare the stew like Vivian was saying, and I'll put it in the fridge so that I can eat the rice and I'll add vegetables and life moves on. And I will take some drinks out because I used to like eating with drinks and all that. Now I'll stick with preparing sugolo in the house. What's like it from me? So Vivian, what are some of the things like calling home? I feel, why do we hide our emotions when we have a support system, but we say, I want to handle it on my own? And then you talk about things that we have to take out to, plan.
Okay, so for my end, open scholarship.
Yeah.
So I occasionally get support from an uncle.
Yeah.
But he's carrying most of the burden for myself.
Yeah.
About 9
Okay.
siblings.
That's a large family.
Yeah, and
Happy
he
for
helps
you.
other people in the extended family as well. So a lot of people should school. So it would be nice if greatest level, and also call him back from the home.
I get that.
But I still call him when it's very urgent. So I wait till there's no other option. Yeah, I reach out to him. He said this year has been good. I've been hard to more than anyone.
Wow.
When it comes to reducing stuff, I think one problem, it was so evident that I didn't have money in my lose because I read and I look better. Because like, if you don't eat well, it impacts your health. You get sick, you can't afford healthcare.
Yeah.
So as much as you are trying to cut down on these things, you make sure that it's not going to lead to a serious issue. Exactly. So even if you don't like eating, you should. I feel like you should, if you will not eat twice, try eat once. Don't say
eat well.
Yeah. And if you need a help, ask. Because if you finish right now, you have to come and pay medical bill, which is another one. And you go into one end. So prioritize your health as well. And then personal branding. Where you I remember she saying she cut down some stuff. You have to, even though you don't have money, you should try not to look like your problems.
Yeah.
Try not to look like your problems.
Because people don't really care whether they're struggling or not. Yeah. Because I see people that look very nice, and then when you find out,
like, hey, you were suffering more than I was.
Yeah.
And then because of that, the way to be able to get help from people. So I believe that if your money is enough, you should be able to budget and add stuff regarding your personal brand. You don't have to pick your nails, just trim it, make sure it's neat.
Exactly.
Your hair is natural hair, maintain it nice.
So let's talk about borrowing. Like people end up having to borrow, and they are borrowing. Some people borrow because they have a lifestyle they have to maintain all the way from uni. This is who I have been. I always fix my nails. I always wear my makeup, and I have to continue pursuing this life. And then they are borrowing. They keep borrowing. How do you advise young girls out there watching that? Listen, at what point do you have to put a stop to this? Because some people are like, okay, I will seek help. They will borrow and borrow and borrow for everything that they don't even need to borrow for. And so even when they start working, shoes will come, they'll buy. And I think some shoes are there. National Service people don't have any business buying. Someone brings a Zara and it's 1,000 cedis. You know the salary of the National Service person. Like, don't take it. But they will go and take it and have a payment plan. And if you're paying 200 cedis on a Zara and it's going out of your money, that means you're already broke. Then you have to do, because nails, once you do nails, the acrylic and all that, I think you're looking at 100 or 180 cedis, or depending on where you go. Then braiding. So already at the end of the month, you are already gone. So there's some habits that we really need to stop. And I'll start with you, my Joyce. I see you're saying, you're like, I'm advising people in your head.
So the thing is, you don't need any more. You just have to put a stop to it. For me, one of the things my dad used to tell me when I was in the university, he says that the money I have for you for your hair is for braiding. When you start working, you can buy the wigs. And so, if you know me personally, you know that I'm not really into wigs because I know I can't afford. My parents can't afford. So it's either you are braiding or you are wearing the hair that you have, which is very beautiful.
One thing I like about your story is both you and Vivian is the fact that you've accepted some things and you're willing to accept that you will not influence me. Now there are others watching, and I think I'll come to you, Vivian. They are with cliques of friends. They wear weave on, they do this. They know they can't do it. They know their budgets will not meet. But if they don't do it, they don't feel accepted. So they think that's what boosts their ego. What would be your advice to such girls that want to be accepted? They play the part.
When it comes to needs to belong, I think it's very costly. Get lots of friends. First of all, I don't have really like female friends because of where I feel they are now. And if I have to meet with them, I have to dress. Some serious level of and if you don't have it, you don't have it. I don't know why you should stress yourself and borrow because borrowing, once you start borrowing, you borrow it. And unless somebody comes to you and then you can use for something, but then you owe somebody, people are following happen. Whereas when you start calling people think you are coming to them and nobody wants to relate to you. So I personally haven't been influenced by people. I don't know if it's
that's what I'm saying. I'm very glad that I have you, just because there are a lot of young girls who fall under this influence. And I remember on Legon campus, there were girls that came and you could see that these were very innocent. And before we left, their skirts kept going higher. And you know, these are things they'll just say and you think it's not because I saw some who were dark and became fair. And later you see them like, no, and you're like, and you're tempted to ask, is this you? But at the same time, you don't want to be rude, right? So owning ourselves and accepting who we are and accepting that time will change things. Like with time, when you get a good job, I remember when those days when I was trying to do makeup from university, I couldn't afford it expensive, so I would do that and love you. No offense, but it was the cheapest at that point. Not that because it wasn't good, but it was the cheapest. So I'll go buy it. But when I started getting a job, naturally the money would tell me not to go back to that and love you because I can afford something that is more maybe expensive and also would offer me another quality. So I think it's important we know ourselves and know our values and know what we can afford. Now, I want you guys to end with the fact of, will we ever be prepared for adulthood? And if there's a way we could have been prepared, what would we have done right in university or in college so that we would have been very prepared coming out? So if somebody is in school watching right now and they're like, I don't want to find myself in a situation where I look confused in terms of career, in terms of finances and all that, what can they do now right in school, so that they come out well? So I'll start with you, my choice.
I would say have a plan.
Have a plan.
If you don't have a plan, it's okay. I didn't have a plan.
But now it's best they have a plan.
Yes.
What sort of things should be in my plan?
Okay, so one, professional development.
Okay, what should I focus on?
Okay, so your degree wouldn't be enough. Once you come out, don't think you're coming out of the university and you stop learning. No, learning is progressive. So you come out, make sure there are free online courses you can take up. Make sure you are building your soft skills, you are building yourself, networking. Yes, maybe the friends that you come out from the university, you may not find them again, but then never stop the opportunities to network with other people. You go out, you go to church, you sit in a trusky, you sit anywhere else. Just be open and then network.
And networking takes time. So sometimes you meet somebody the first time, you know that they can help you get something. But it may take a year before you get that thing that they can help you with. That's why you need to nurture friendship and relationship. Don't rush things. So somebody can give you a job. And the first day will not, it's not when you get it. You may not even get a job, or you might not get a job in 6 months, but you are likely to get a job in a year or on the 7th month. You need to nurture that relationship. Call them, check up on them, ask them if there's any advice you can give you. If it's their birthday, you see they posted something and you have some means to give them something small, you can say, oh, I just have this airtime for you. It's building a relationship.
My first job was that.
What can you?
My first job was through a referral, and then it was through a network that I made.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long did it take for that to materialize?
Not too much. I would say 3 months.
Okay.
So I went on a set for an interview. It was an HR company. And then they told me, oh, the role we are interviewing for, you don't seem to be the best fit. Can you intern with us? I was like, okay, I'll go and consider. I didn't just put down the offer. So I went to my thoughts of it and I considered certain things. I got back to them like in a polite way that, oh, I'm very grateful for the opportunity they've given me. But due to this and this, I wouldn't be able to join them. And afterwards, it didn't end there. Once in a while, I would call, oh, how are you doing? Because I knew the person was in the position to.
Yeah.
So when the person found, I was just lying there, I wasn't expecting. The person called me, oh, so and so and so, I would want to, and the person put in my application for me. Yeah.
See what next thing we can do. Vivian, what advice would you give, like I said, so that we can plan more, read those in school?
Okay, so if you're in level 100 to 100,
Yeah.
you should take intentions. Yeah, because the only way you can really
Mix and learn as well, learn as well, yeah.
most people pay for you. Even if they don't pay you, you are building your skills.
Exactly.
You be better prepared than other colleagues who are not. And then you mentioned next weekend, I also got jobs through people.
Yeah.
People sending me links. The national service that I got was a link someone sent me. The job I was a link. So, and then last thing, just accept that life will not go the way you want.
I think that's
No matter how you plan,
Yeah.
so if it doesn't go well, what's the next plan? What do you have to do? Yes, ask for help if it's needed. I understand that. No, I think there's this thing about not asking for help because people, it happens. I've got help several times. People, the help that was coming, it came with some comments I didn't like, but you have to put your pride aside. It means in life.
Yeah.
At some point, you will need to ask for help again. So ask for help.
Yeah. You said something about life will not give you, it's not all the things we expect. I remember when we graduated, a colleague of mine, like a mate of mine, when it seems that she's a friend, it took her 4 years to get her first job. I got a job right after school, but it didn't matter because in that 4 years before she came back to get a job, my company had run bankrupt. Now, I say this not to say, oh, hey, I'm just trying to say that life happens, things happen, situations can affect you in so many ways. Right after school, people get jobs, some people don't, people lose family, some people don't, people lose friends, relationships, some people don't. But whatever life presents to you, choose your fight. And when I say choose your fight, you need to go all hard for it because it's best you fight than to let life keep pushing things at you. If not, you'll be so demoralized, you'll be so broken. And when you get broken to a point and you hit zero, rising up is very difficult. So always make sure if life keeps hitting at you and giving you all the bad news, sometimes you just say, I'll still not hit zero. I'm going to, even if it's just the application, you can just do one today, or you can just write one paragraph of your cover letter. Just write it. Go rest. You didn't go zero. The next day, add the second paragraph. You didn't go zero. If you get rejection, read the first line. Keep giving yourself motivation and keep rising. The girl who can at times now. Thank you so much, Vivian. Thank you, Emma Joyce. It's been a great session. I've learned a lot myself from you. And now that we cannot have 3 square meals, I'll say it's a thank you.